So this was my second track day with JZilla, and we were here at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama. And what you're going to see here is the blue-green happy hour, which is the last one of the day where they combine two groups. I'm in the Green Novice group, and so this is my first time doing the happy hour. I actually didn't do it the first time. I'm driving a 2020 Audi S5. The only modification I have is I bought some track wheels and some tires that are 200 treadwear to use for track days so I don't burn through my normal summer tires that come on the car. So this video will be the full run of the happy hour. I think I was out there for almost 20 minutes before I started to run out of gas, and I will kind of talk you through the track as I go along, and also some of the cars that I encounter in this run. You initially enter the course out of the pit into turn 2, which sweeps into turn 3. So it's kind of this first long turn. And I started behind 991.1 GT3. And I'm behind this car for probably about the first lap. You can take turn 4 flat out as you crest up over the hill and just drift out wide. Wasn't able to do it on this first lap as everyone's just warming up, but it's one that in subsequent laps I do take flat out. Now turn 7 and 8 are my favorite because if you get it right and you take turn 7 properly, you can pretty much be straight as you get into the braking zone for turn 8, and then be able to turn in hard in turn 8 and then drift out wide to carry a lot of speed into turn 9. You can see here that this Porsche took this corner wide, so I had a lot of speed carrying into this turn, and I actually had to let off the gas because I didn't get the point by to go by him. Turn 9 and 10 is another one that if you play your cards right, you can pretty much be flat out through that corner, but if you overcook it, you can also drift out a little bit too far wide into the rumble strips, which I did do on a later lap. Turn in early to turn 11, and then as you get to the bottom of the hill, get on the brake, and then back off the brake, back onto the gas into turn 12 and up the hill. If you're far enough to the outside, you can take a hard turn into turn 13 and be fully on the gas, and then start to lift off and feather the throttle as you go around 14. You'll want to take another hard right turn into 14A to keep it out wide, and that will give you a nice sweeping left turn and fully on the gas into turn 15. You'll have a nice long straightaway here, and then you'll get into turn 1. With turn 1, you can also turn in early, and if you can get to the rumble strips on the left-hand side, you have a lot of room to drift out onto the right and then sweep back as you get into turn 2. After about a full lap of me being on his tail, he finally gave me the point by as we came into turn 4. So as I come out of turn 6, I spot a blue BMW in the distance, and I set my sights on trying to track that car down. I was way too aggressive coming into turn 7, and I almost ran through the corner. I had to slam on the brake, so I didn't take this one as well as I would have liked. hear me trying to will the car into going faster on the straightaway. You can see I was once again pressing to try to catch him, and I overcooked it on that turn and drifted out wide into those rumble strips. By now I had caught up, and I knew going to turn 15, if I was on the gas well, I would get the point by. At this point, I catch up to a group of lower horsepower cars, so I feel pretty confident if I keep the right racing line and stay on their tails that I will eventually get the point buys. The green Miata is from AOA Racing and was pressing the Ford Focus really well. I was able to stay right up with the group, so we both got point buys. I come out of turn 4 with enough speed that he gives me the point by. Hey, while you're here, give the channel a like and subscribe and let me know what other kinds of videos you'd like to see. So I'm held up for a couple turns by a WRX, but I'm finally able to get the point by on the straight. So as I come around turn 1, a 981 Cayman GTS comes out of the pits. You can hear me really pushing myself here for a couple turns, and I actually overcooked it on the next turn, just really trying to catch this car. The BMW holds them up quite a bit, so I was really surprised to get the point by here on the straightaway, but I'm not going to pass it up. The MX-5 here gave 3 of us point buys. The group then got point buys from a Porsche 911 from the early 90s. The BMW had pressed the Mustang enough, and he gave us both point buys as we came into turn 5. I had to stay on the outside to make sure he had enough room to make the turn. So as we come around turn 8, you can see in my side view mirror that the Cayman has caught up to me that I had passed earlier, so I give him the point by to my passenger side. We then caught up to a very slow-moving Honda S2000, which we quickly passed. I had some significant brake fade at this point, and I was starting to run out of gas. As we come into the straightaway, the BMW gives me the point by to his passenger side. Coming out of turn 6, the Cayman was able to press the next BMW into giving us both point bys. Coming out of turn 8, the Miata stayed on the racing line and the Porsche didn't for some reason. I think he anticipated that the Miata would give the point by on the right-hand side of his vehicle, but he gave it on the left, so I was in position to pass both cars at once. So I caught up to the next car pretty quickly, but I was starting to run out of gas, so I had to put my fist out the window and signal to go into the pit. I was super happy with how the day went. Barber Motorsports Park has an amazing track, and it just seemed to suit the car really perfectly. When I got back to the paddock and parked the car and got out, the right front brakes were smoking. So the next thing I'm going to do over the break is replace the rotors, the pads, and potentially the brake lines, and definitely the brake fluid.
Thank you.
I even had a little bit of a scare when I got back in the car to leave and I pushed the brake pedal in and it went all the way to the floor. It took a little bit for me to get the fluid back into the calipers and for the brakes to re-engage. I can't say enough about the folks at JZilla. This is my second event with them, one at AMP and one at Barber, and I already have a bunch that I've planned for the next year. They're just really well organized. They take safety as a top priority and they create a really fun environment. So if you're in the southeast of the United States, would highly recommend looking at JZilla for your track days.